Will it be an epic debate debacle or the greatest show on earth? President Biden and former President Trump will officially face off on two debate stages, June 27th and September 10th. It's time to wake up, Washington, because voters will be watching these debates closely, and the jabs have already begun. Biden challenged Trump with this video posted to X.
Donald Trump lost two debates to me in 2020. And since then, he hadn't shown up for debate. Now he's acting like he wants to debate me again. Well, make my day, pal.
While Trump posted this to Truth Social, quote, "Just tell me when. I'll be there. Let's get ready to rumble." So what are Americans really thinking about these upcoming debates? Here's what some of you had to say.
The bickering, the going back and forth, the slandering and the name calling, that doesn't help anybody.
I have a little bit of dignity about yourself and show some respect, whether you disagree or not.
Bluffs and people playing it safe. I feel like the election is this year, so say what you gotta say.
I would like to see respectful discourse, of course, between Biden and Trump. Fortunately, probably that won't be happening.
I can't be disappointed anymore. It's been a crazy 8 years.
We count major with the vote. We can go to the red side or we can go to the blue side. So they need to get themselves together if you plan on having our vote.
Joining us now is a man who has covered many debates over the years. He's also my boss, The Hill's editor-in-chief, Bob Cusack. Bob, it's good to see you.
Hey, Julia.
So, just to start off with, we're expecting fiery debates, knowing that this is going to be a rematch from 2020. We all remember Chris Wallace, when he was at Fox News, not being able to get a word in between Trump and Biden during the first 2020 debate. Let's take a look at that.
Oh, really?
Mr. President, it's an open discussion.
I think he did.
Mr. President, let him answer.
He stood up.
No,
he stood up,
the answer to the question is no.
Ukraine.
No, sir.
With $1 billion, if you
that
get rid
is
of
absolutely not true.
You're doing it.
You're going to have
tape.
True.
Gentlemen. I hate to raise my voice, but it seems to me, why should I be different than the two of you?
And that's Trump. But at one point, Biden actually told former President Trump to shut up. Let's take a look at that.
It's hard to get any word in with this clown. Excuse me, this
Hey, let me just say,
I'm not going to answer the question
why would you answer that
because
question?
the question is
the Supreme Court justice, radical left.
Will you shut up, man?
Listen, you're a senator, and
you're
by
the
way,
worst
you were
president
vice.
America has ever had.
Hey,
Come
Joe,
on.
let me
So, Bob, there's a lot of factors that play into these debates. A lot of it's the moderator. A lot of it's circumstantial as to what the candidates have been through that day. I think the second debate may have been a little bit more on track than the first one. So what can we expect from the first debate in June, but also in September?
Well, it's like a heavyweight boxing fight. They had those matchups in 2020. They're going to have different matchups in 2024. Things have changed. Biden is now president. I think Trump actually lost the presidency in that first debate. I think he was so off the rails that's what cost him the presidency, as well as some things related to COVID, because he could have handled COVID better. And he lost so narrowly. So I do expect fiery debates, but I do think that a lot of people will be in Trump's ear saying you need to calm down, don't go at that pace. And Biden's going to have to, he's going to be on the spot too, because there's concerns about his age and can he keep up with Trump during the debate. Now, certainly in 2020, Biden did well, and I think he won the debates. And this, honestly, could decide the election, these debates.
So on that note about Trump in particular being on the spot, one thing we've always asked those around him, those who support him, the former president gets this asked as well, is whether he will accept the 2024 presidential election results after what happened in 2020. Is he going to be pressed on that? And how do you think he navigates that?
It's a very good question. I don't think he's going to accept any result if he loses. But on the 2020, this is a tough part for moderators here, because do you want to go down that path? You know what Trump's going to say. He said it a million times. The moderators want to create new material. So I do think it's an open question of whether he's going to accept the 2024 debate results. He certainly did not accept 2020. Remember, in 2016, in the first primary, he lost to Ted Cruz, and he said that was rigged. So there's a pattern here. I don't think the moderators are going to harp on that. I think they want to have most of the topics, at least most of them, going forward instead of backward.
So these debates in the past have been sponsored by the Commission on Presidential Debates.
Yeah.
This year it's different because The Biden campaign went around them, seemed to reach out to the Trump campaign
Yes.
over social media. Then you had the networks getting involved. Us politicos know what the Commission on Presidential Debate is, but a lot of Americans outside the Beltway who may not follow politics as closely aren't as aware of what it really did to organize these debates. Talk about what the commission is and really what its absence means going forward.
Well, the commission was set up because you have these rivals who are going to be facing off, and it's been around for decades. Basically a bipartisan commission to set up the rules, so it's fair to both sides. And you're exactly right, Julia. Both sides went around the commission. Trump has been very critical of the commission in 2020. And then Biden also went around the commission. And why did they go around the commission? Well, the commission had clear rules if a third party can qualify for the debate with 15% in the polls and 270 electoral votes. So don't have to be on all the states, but the states that you are on the ballot have to add up to 270, so technically you could win. That doesn't exist anymore because Biden and Trump basically did this side deal, and the commission rules are irrelevant now because this is not through the commission. So I think this was a clear end run around RFK Jr. because he's right around 15%. Yeah. That's his goal, to get in the debates. Harvard-Harris poll recently said 71% of people want third parties in the debate. But is RFK Jr. going to get in any of these debates? Absolutely not, because I'm certain the president would say, nope, I don't want RFK Jr. If RFK Jr. is in it, then I'm out.
One thing Trump has been pushing for is a live audience. We know he likes that spectacle. In 2016, he brought a number of women who had accused Bill Clinton of sexual harassment or misconduct to that debate against Hillary Clinton. It's not the first time. I mean, we will see these debates take place in a television studio, but it's not the first time we've seen this. Biden did it in 2020 against Bernie Sanders during a CNN debate. How will Trump fare without an audience? Because he's someone who really does feed off of the energy around him.
He does, and he's even fed off the negative energy. Back in the 2016 Republican primary debates, there were, remember, Jeb Bush was the front runner at first, and Trump was getting basically booed by some in the stands. And what did he say? He said, oh, they're a bunch of lobbyists, they're from Washington. So he even played off the negative energy. Yeah. So I think it is going to be tough for Trump because he loves that feedback and he loves to make people laugh and people turn against his rival. So that's going to be a little bit of a difference. As you know, Julia, sometimes they say everybody has to be quiet in the crowd, but rarely are they quiet in the crowd.
They're very excited. So I want to draw our attention to issues and how they're going to play out in the debates. A recent ABC Ipsos poll found that 85% of adult Americans surveyed said inflation was an important issue. No surprise there. In a plurality, 44% said they trust former President Trump more than Biden on inflation. Why is that, and what does Biden need to do to gain America's trust back on the issue of inflation and the economy? I mean, it just seems to be this never-ending messaging struggle for him.
I don't think Biden can win because we're less than 6 months away, but he's got to close the gap on those numbers you showed. Listen, inflation has gone up under Biden. You can say certainly that was because of the COVID bills that were passed, trillions of dollars of aid. There were bills that were bipartisan. There were bills that were partisan that just Democrats passed. But I think what Biden needs to do is have a little Bill Clinton in him, where show some empathy. Listen, we've been through some tough times. I understand it. Biden sometimes can be very defensive. He can actually misconstrue what the inflation rate was when he got in, and it really was low, but it did go up under his watch. Again, you can blame the prior administration for that, but facts are fact. When they went up, I do think Biden should say, listen, we're on the right track. Things are getting better. Which inflation? It is. The rate has gone down, but I understand your pain. That Bill Clinton message, he hasn't really delivered, and I think he would be wise to deliver that.
Yeah, that'll be interesting to watch for that. I know in a recent CNN interview, he did not.
He did not.
He did not do that. So we'll see what he does there. So inflation obviously isn't the only issue. There's other aspects of the economy, immigration, democracy, crime, safety, healthcare, foreign policy. Obviously, the war in Gaza has been playing a big role domestically. Would Which of these issues will Trump and Biden hit the hardest when making their case on the debate stage?
Well, Trump loves talking about the border. He loves talking about his wall. So I think he's going to lean into that as well as the economy, because there's the advantage, honestly, on both issues, on both immigration and the economy. But Biden has a big issue in his pocket, and that's abortion. He's going to be talking about that nonstop. We've seen it, and you've reported, and our staff has reported on, even in red states, pro-choice amendments are passing. That is just very shocking. So Democrats have the abortion issue. They did well on that in the midterm elections. Everyone was expecting, including me, a red wave. The red wave didn't happen. Why? Because of abortion. And this is going to be the first presidential where it's really leaned into, and that could save Biden's job. But it may not be enough.
Well, Bob, thank you so much for joining us here today. We appreciate it.
Thanks, Julie.